What's up, guys? It's Bryan from A Hero's Journey podcast. This episode is brought to you by SMP Inc., JPS Computers, and my newest sponsor, Red Rock Harley-Davidson, right here in Las Vegas. And what's crazy, guys, honestly, if you want a bike, I still have a license there. They gave me a job during COVID. You can give me a call. You can reach out to me, and I can help you find the best fit for you. So in this journey, this thing that we call life, you go through and you meet people, and there are people who come into your life for just a moment, for a season, or for a lifetime. And by a chance moment, sitting by a pool, I happen to meet somebody who we think the same. We call each other when we're having, like, we're in the same industry. We're in the music business. And it's wild because I'll get a call at 1 o'clock in the morning, my time, which I know wherever he is in the country, he's driving, his band's got to be asleep or something, and he's giving me a call because he wants to run something by me. He just wants to think out loud and get that vibe, whether or not I understand where he's coming from, or we're just bouncing ideas off each other, or just almost kind of bitching sometimes about the industry, but then getting off the phone and feeling inspired. It's that little bit of like, I needed that call, he needed to hear my voice, or I do the same to him. And he happened to be flying into town and said, hey man, I'm available to do the show. And when this was just an idea, all it was a concept, he said, I want on. I'll buy a ticket and come from Nashville to Las Vegas to be on the show. I call him a brother to me. We run in the same circles because we introduce each other to the same people. But my good friend and a brother to me, Mr. Jared Blake, everybody. So what's up, dude?
Hey, man, how you doing, brother? How you doing?
Good to see you. Oh, man, I'm good. Welcome to Las Vegas.
Thanks, man.
So I got to ask, too, like I just asked you about Jen, your better half. She's crushing it out here. She's
destroying it.
Yeah. And I don't know that I would know you as well as I do if it wasn't for Jen. Jen was like, you two are very similar and you need to know each other. And she just kept pushing in the beginning because we're two, and I don't need to put this like kind of like alpha male type guys, but we're like, man, that guy reminds me of me. And we're doing that. It's like looking in a mirror kind of thing. And next thing you know, we're like hugging and sharing our lives. And it was really cool.
But don't you feel that with most of your like close guy friends?
Yes.
Like there's that little bit of guardedness in the beginning. And I think it's only been in recent years that I've been able to understand when I have that guard. I'm like, I'll probably dig that guy.
Yes, exactly.
You know, before I was always like, I don't know about that guy.
No, it's like, yeah, I see myself in that person. And those similarities, we actually understand too, there's room for all of us.
Yeah.
There is room for all of us. And if we all jump on ships together and we rise this thing, we all rise together.
I think we're all starting to realize now that we actually need each other too, because that group of guys that you're talking about, it's kind of a dying breed now.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing. And if I'm honest about it, you know, I feel like that a lot of us are getting a bad rep. As well, you know, of like,
True.
Oh, well, if you like this and you dress like this and you act like this, well, you must be this guy over here. It's like they've painted out these horrible pictures. And man, when you say that term alpha male, that's a bad rep as well. But I mean, most of the dudes that I know that are the most giving, loving, caring, you know, do anything for you, raise the most money for charities. I mean, like they are kind of that guy. They're always looking for, how can I take care of people?
Right.
You know?
Which I that's the thing that I discovered. And we'll get into it on this episode with you. The things that you've done, the things that you go out of your way. I think one of the last phone conversations we had, you were like, yeah, I went to Europe, you know, on my own dime, and we'll get into that. Yeah. But, you know, so we met, I'm going to take you guys back. I met this guy. He was on season 1 of The Voice. Season 1 of The Voice, you got picked by Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
I get confused because it's Jared Blake,
right.
You know. And my roommate at the time was in the running but didn't actually end up getting picked on the show. And but I met you because we were at the pool, and you're like, hey man, you stopped me, and you're like, who are you? Like, you wanted to know, like, where did I come from? I just came out of nowhere, and I had like 3 chains,
because
bandana.
you look like an artist, but you weren't one of the artists.
Exactly. You're like, who are you, man? And we get to talking, and I let you know that I own Red Chapter Clothing, and I was showing you my shirt, and I was showing you other things, and you're like, no, I want that one, the one off my back.
Yeah.
So I went, all right, let me run out to the car. I'll take this one off. We'll get it dry cleaned. And I put something else on and gave it to you, and you wore that thing on the show and in all your promo shots. And
dude, and I still saw that shirt on stuff for years. Like, we were out in Salt Lake City, I think, like probably 5 years later, and I walked in this store, and there's a giant picture of me wearing that shirt.
There you go.
And then there was you guys' line was in that store.
Yeah, yeah,
that's crazy.
I know it was, and that friendship was built out of that moment. That crazy.
Off topic, but I just remembered how we actually met.
Yeah.
It was because I had 2 bandanas in my pocket, and I looked up and you came walking through and you had 3 bandanas in your pocket. And I was like, who does that? I'm the only person I know that carries 2, and he's got 1 more bandana than me. Who is that guy?
And 3 chains. Yes. Because I remember you called me up and you went, hey, they're not letting me wear your t-shirt anymore. Can I wear your buckle and your chains and your shirt? So I gave you my shirt. And
I'd already tapped them out on what they're willing to get me.
Dude, can you pull up a clip of him on, I got producer Chase in the room right now.
Yeah.
And Chase is going to pull up a clip of you on, there you go.
Time heals everything, but I'm still waiting. Well, I'm through with doubt. There's nothing left for me to figure out.
They're staring at each other. They're playing the game.
That's Jen.
I've never heard him say that.
I think that's all we're allowed to
Yeah,
show.
there we go. But dude, and Blake Shelton actually spun around
Yeah.
and you picked him as your coach. So and I was there for all that, which that whole journey I watched you go through that, and including your tattoo. We
Oh yeah, dude.
Forever Family. It's a tattoo. Yep, that we. I remember sitting and watching you do that live from a hotel room, and we sent over the tattoo artist Mark and Ryan and I did.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And you got it tattooed live before.
Dude,
I think before anything was live like that, NBC made it happen and set up this live thing where you were getting tattooed from your hotel room.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, there's I hear people talk so much trash about reality TV and the stuff that they had to do or whatever. And reality TV is not reality. I mean, there's a lot of crap that goes along with it. But I mean, dude, to get to be a part of something that was that cool, I mean, like, it just, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not thankful that I got that opportunity. Because even if it had not built a career afterwards, just that experience alone of getting to go through, you know, a professional studio and just to get see the back end of how all of that happens. Like, it was super cool, you know.
So you live in Nashville, and you started out as a songwriter. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep. Started off as a songwriter. Had no. Well, I mean, as a kid, I played music all through high school and stuff. But once I found out there was a career as a songwriter, I turned my interest into that. And had I not, I don't think I'd have found my voice, because up until then, you know, you're just kind of duplicating whatever else you heard on radio.
Right.
And once I stopped trying to be a singer and focused on the songwriting, I didn't care if you liked my voice anymore. So I didn't try anymore. And I was able to unlock who I really was. So then it was about, you know, just writing the best song that I could and trying to convey the emotion of that song, not caring if you liked me or not.
Right.
If that made sense.
Right. No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, it was like I remember the night that I kind of stumbled upon my sound. I did it in this club, and it was only because we wrote the song for another artist who sang higher than me, and I couldn't hit the notes, and I just kind of screamed them out, and the place went nuts. And
No way.
I was like, maybe I'll do this more.
Right. So there were so this journey. Take me on this, because now from songwriting, where did it come into? Hey, I've discovered my voice. Where does Jared Blake rise out of?
It was through, I was doing a lot of demo work for people that were hiring me in to to do session work as vocalist. And every time I'd step in and do one, they would all ask, are you looking for a record deal? Are you looking for a record deal? And I was like, no. And finally, somebody, it's Bobby Pinson, I think, a big songwriter in Nashville. He said, you looking for a record deal? And I said, no. And he goes, why not? You know, you're better than most of those people out there, right? And I was like, man, maybe we should think about this. And, you know, we started playing and started looking for that deal. Tons of stuff happened. Tons of it fell through, you know, that, you know, that
we know that. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. Right.
But I think, you know, you just never know what God's plan is, what that course is going to be for you, what that road's going to look like for you. When I look back at it now, and you'll probably have to remind me of this, you know, at some 3 a.m. call that I called, you know, complaining about stuff. But when I look back at it now, I'm kind of glad I never had that major deal.
Right.
I've enjoyed, while it didn't necessarily go where I thought it was going to go, I've really enjoyed the ride, though. I enjoyed being on The Voice. I enjoyed the things that it gave me, and I think it gave me a different perspective, especially after COVID. It gave me a different perspective on what music was and why we do it.
Right.
And realizing that it didn't matter if I was playing for 5 people or 5,000 people or 500,000
We talk about that all the time.
You know, it just, anytime someone's moved, I mean, like this last weekend, I was invited to a wedding. This friend of mine, and I was already packing up to go, and she was like, "Hey, are you bringing your guitar?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't planning on it." And she was like, "Would you mind?" And I said, "Sure." Let's bring the guitar, and she requests this song, and this is like a $5 million wedding, this huge wedding, and she asked me to come play, and like it didn't really hit me till I got on stage, standing there, thinking about how much money was spent on this thing, and then realizing like, you just asked me to be a part of your memories.
Right.
You took the most important day of your life and said, I want Jared Blake front and center of that.
Yeah. Well, you've been a part of many of those memories, though.
Well, that's the point. Like
you created
like, wow.
From writing songs. You write songs that actually have an impact on people's lives. And I just saw you jump on a plane and go overseas to an undisclosed area and play for our military for like probably the 5th or 6th time. We talk about those. I wrote a song in the middle of a airport, stuck in an airport. I needed to hear your voice when you called me one night. I found out my brother's dying. I'm stuck in an airport and I can't sleep. And you happen to call me. Yeah. And we get to talking and you're like, don't sleep, write about it. And I'm in there in the airport writing a song about that, about how I was feeling. Because that's what we do. That's how we. Yeah. But you were on a flight on your way to play for our military at that time, and sharing that with me. And tell me about like even your last experience about how that went.
The military stuff. I'm actually up to 18 now.
Oh my gosh!
18 trips over. Yeah, different undisclosed locations, but some of them are repeat ones. Some of them we've been in certain countries so much that we've gotten to know the royal family, because we got flagged at one point of like, why do these guys keep coming over here? Like,
right.
Our passports and such. This last trip was actually over Christmas, which that's the 3rd time that I've done that. And those are my favorite ones. And I'm very blessed that I have a family that understands that.
Right.
Like,
you have a huge family, by the way.
6 kids and my wife. And every time I go over during Christmas, I'll sit down with all the kids and my wife and ask me like, hey, this is the offer. This is what they want me to do. I'll be gone Christmas. This is when we would have Christmas, and restructure everything and ask them how they feel about it. And they've just kind of grown up watching me do that kind of stuff. And so it's always a no-brainer. They're immediately like, yeah, go do that.
Yeah, you set a standard in your family and a love and understanding for that. Yeah,
and it's been cool because it created something in my kids that they're proud that I do those sort of things. You know,
yeah.
Like they're excited about it. But going over there at Christmas definitely is like the most moving time, because they're not expecting it. And once you hit that stage, you can see it process with them of like, oh, you're not home at Christmas either.
Right.
Like you see that, and while you're thanking them for their service, it registers with them what you're missing out, that you were willing to miss out on the same thing they were.
Right.
You know, and so that's been really cool. This last time, of course, you know, you introduced me to Couture.
Yeah, Randy Couture.
So he sends over a line of his shirts every time I go, and so this time we've got to where we give away a guitar every time we go over there as well. So this time we brought in a giant Santa sack, and we had about 50 of his shirts and wrapped presents, and then we had games and all sorts of other presents and this guitar, and we were like the whole show just with this Santa sack sitting beside the mic stand every once in a while, just reaching in and throwing out presents and stuff. And,
How cool.
Dude, it's awesome, man.
I love that pride. You know, my daughter, I think I've told you this on a phone call before, but my daughter, she thought I knew every person in a uniform when she was young, because I would walk up to anyone in a uniform and thank them for their service. And one day we were at an airport, and they were all like flying in to do some training, and there must have been 30 or 40 of them. And I walk up to all of them as we got our bags, and now I'm going to shake all their hands. And then she realized, you can't know all of them. And she asked me, and I explained to her, you know, like, I get to do what I do because they do what they do.
Right.
And so whenever I can give back, which is Randy, I do a lot of stuff with Randy as well. I know it's going in the right place when I work with Randy and I do a show or a ride or whatever. You know, speaking of Harleys, and you're a Harley guy, and we've had some scares with you on Harleys, but it doesn't scare you to get back up on a bike and
I wouldn't say it
ride.
doesn't scare me. I just go do it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, we almost lost you there for a minute. Yeah, but you know, speaking of, it made me think of something, because we talk about this. Like, had you had success when it was coming at you? I don't think, knowing you so well, kind of like my brother as well. I probably would have lost my brother a long time ago had he continued on with his record deal and the success that he was getting at that time, because he wasn't in a place. He was lost in alcohol and those kinds of things that would have probably taken him at a young age, you know, with success, because you are very talented, and had it struck you then, you know, now you and I are very, you know, we have these addictive personalities. We go all in.
Yeah, it's weird thinking about it like that, because I think that that's definitely a case where I think that there's a likely chance I wouldn't have come back from that, but you don't really know that.
You don't know. Yeah.
What I do know is I'm confident that where my passions are today, I wouldn't have found those.
Right.
Because, you know, even if I'd made it through all the addiction issues the same way, even if, you know, I wound up being the same person, basically, I watch a lot of my friends. They're a lot more successful. They don't have control over their careers enough to do the things that really excite them.
Right.
You know,
I get
because
it.
at the end of the day, like, I mean, yeah, playing, you know, Bridgestone Arena sounds amazing, but knowing that you actually changed someone's life, you know, knowing that you affected their life in some ways, so much more powerful. And I don't know that when you're on that stadium level, I don't know how much control you get over what you sing, what you say, what you do, you know, where it's been a blessing and curse not getting that big deal.
Right.
Still, I've always had all the freedom to do whatever I want to do.
You're always working. You are always on the road. You're always putting in the work. Getting to some charities, because I want you to play some songs for us today as well. But you have a charity. One, you have a song, and we'll get to that. But you have a charity that you work with. You play schools. Like I play high schools. You play schools as well. And what's this called?
So Live to Be is something that we started in 2014 because of The Voice. It was started based off the fact that, you know, when they announced me on the first show of The Voice as a recovering addict.
I remember
which was
that.
Not something we were talking about.
Right.
It wasn't something you talk about.
Right.
You know, your PR team never was like, hey, let's discuss this. But that came out, and my Twitter account went nuts with people wanting to know how I get clean, how their father get clean, their son, their brother, their sister. And most people don't know this, but on the sidebar of Twitter, I don't know if it's still there, but there was a yellow bar or a gray bar, and then like there'd be a yellow dot at the top of it, and that let you know that you had messages waiting. Well, during the entire time on The Voice, as well as up to probably about 6-7 months after, my entire bar was yellow, and you could scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll,
Whoa.
and you'd never pass it because there were so many messages pertaining to addiction that were in there. I got to where I was spending 4 hours of every day trying to answer messages back, and I'd never catch up at all.
Wow.
And so it was that point that we started realizing, like, well, if people are reaching out for this, it's clear to see how big the problem is. Are we more effective trying to fix people who are already broken, or are we more effective trying to keep people from ever getting broken?
And that's why I started my thing as well.
So it was, we started in schools, speaking and singing. I mean, if I'm honest about it, it's more of an amped up motivational songwriting, singer-songwriter night. Because it starts off with me and my guitar, and then I start telling stories, and every song that I play is kind of 5 or 6 songs, about an hour of telling the story in between, and the songs all apply to whatever my story is. It's a message of hope and strength rather than where we grew up. I'm not going to name any names, but there was a lot of programs in our schools and stuff that went around that were scare tactics.
Right.
You know, don't do this, because all this bad crap is going to happen. The issue with that for me was that then I did it, and nothing bad happened at all. It was like the greatest night of my life. It was awesome. And so it discredited what everyone said about drugs and alcohol, because it was awesome. The reality is that most people don't get in trouble with drugs or alcohol when they first start. That's 10 years down the road.
Right.
10 years down the road is when they lose their house and their kids and they go to jail. Like, all that crap happens, and then you're already addicted and you don't know how or what to do. You know, so we started talking to our youth about that kind of stuff. And today, like 8 years later, we are now in VA hospitals. We're in rehabs. We're in prisons as well as schools, because we've realized that that transitional period of coming out of high school and moving into adulthood is no different than coming out of the military and trying to get back to being a civilian. It's no different than someone coming out of rehab. It's no different than someone coming out of prison. It's this transitional phase that people get lost in, trying to find themselves. And they either go back to wherever they came from, or they find something new that's equally as bad.
Right.
You know, so it's that moment that we get a chance to go, hey, what do you want in life? What do you really want? What do you want your life to look like? Now let's stop and look at, what are the natural talents that you've been given? What are the gifts that you have? How could you make that, that dream a reality?
Right.
Because the reality is that most people, and I don't know why me and you get it. Me and Big Vinny talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I love Vinny.
Randy, we talk about it. I don't know what it is in someone that's just born and you go, oh, I don't have to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go over there. But most of the world, for some reason, doesn't understand that. Wherever they grew up in, if they're an abusive family, they think that non-abusive families are a thing on TV. They don't see that they can leave that. And so that's a lot of our mission, is going, I don't care where you came from, because most of us have been through it as well. You get to leave that. Design the world. Picture the world you want. Now let's sit down and figure out how you actually obtain that.
That's amazing. And, look at this. This is a circle. It starts with, this call to action, this thing that keeps presenting itself. Then this call to adventure. How am I going to step through these and make that happen? And then finding somebody who is going to teach you that new world, or be like a mentor, and make it something so it's your own circle. Right. You're stepping out and doing your own thing and making it be yours. It doesn't have to be the same as your parents. It doesn't have to be the same as your brother or sister or your cousin. You can create your own world. And that's what we're doing here. And there's a song that you wrote for this whole mission, isn't it? It's called... there's a lot of songs. There's a ton, but I was saying there was one you wanted to play today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this while I'm getting ready. Yeah. That little plug. So where we're at now at this point, the program that we run is called Live to Be. But what we've created now is another group called Music with a Mission. And the whole idea of it is essentially it's an LLC that funds all of the nonprofit work that we're doing. Because with Live to Be, when that 501c3 was created, you have to go under a specific title. So that one's about our youth. So as we created the other programs, we realized that we needed another program that kind of umbrellaed everything. So with us being in music, we created music with a mission. And to anyone out there listening that'd be interested in this idea, basically what we've started doing, I think we've got like 8 festivals on this year so far, but we're asking fairs, festivals, those places like that to turn over their booking to us. We'll go out, find the artists. They can give us an idea of what they're looking for. We go out and find the artists so that we come in under their budget, and whatever we come in under their budget, we split between our charity and another local charity. So we're trying to give back while we're there, make sure the buyer is getting what they're looking for. Take all that work off of them, the contracts and all that crap that they don't really know anything about nor want to mess with it, and look at, once again, what were the talents that we were given, what are the things that we know how to do to create funds to continue doing our work. So that way we can look at it, any donor that comes into our 501c3, we can honestly say 100% of everything you give goes back to the community because we're taking care of administration from an LLC standpoint.
What a great idea, dude. And that's you and I both, we know so many people in this industry, and what a great concept.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's well done. Well done. So what's this song that you're going to be playing for us?
Well, you know what? I just realized that we don't have a capo, so I'm gonna have to change what song.
Oh my gosh!
I was talking about. I wish I had thought about that first.
And by the way, this guitar is signed by a bunch of artists. It looks like.
Yeah.
And I saw you doing that kind of stuff, like when you went over to Europe and places like that. We'll get into that, but tell me about this guitar.
So this one in particular is my own private one, but it'll eventually get auctioned off or something because it's every time I say that this one's mine, eventually I'm on stage and someone's like, "I'll give you this much for the charity for that guitar," and you're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So it'll eventually go, but the one that you're talking about is it's wrapped in as an American flag, and that one's got, I think, around 60 signatures on it now. Anywhere from heroes, in war, to Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox, Randy Houser, Lee Brice, basically any artist or celebrity that we work with or come in contact with signs that guitar. And so we're probably looking at another year of it being on the road, and then we'll find some sort of big event and auction it off.
How cool. You went to Europe to get those signatures on the cast of
Expendables
4.
Expendables 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. And when you told me that, you're like, yeah, I'm on my way right now. And then I get a call and it's like, hey, I'm on my way back and this is what happened. I went, dude, and you're like, I paid for it on my own dime. I just wanted to be there to grab this. And I know that it's going to be a big deal for the charity. Yeah. Really cool.
Eventually it'll get auctioned off between our charity and Extreme Couture.
Oh, wow.
GI Foundation. So, yeah. Anyway, well, since we just brought that up, I'm going to change to this song, and maybe this happened for a reason because I don't know what anybody else's beliefs are out there, but I definitely feel for myself that God works in very mysterious ways with me, and a lot of times He changes my plans that I wanted, and I watch it come through in a whole other way for someone else. This song is one that when we wrote it with Randy and Eric Landis. And I'd met Randy at a club downtown Nashville one night, and he'd already had a couple more than me. And he kept getting in my face and screaming 22. Which is already intimidating enough that Randy Couture gets in your face and screams at you. But kept putting his finger in my face and screaming 22. And then later that night, it got stranger because I didn't know Randy that well, and he started sending me poems, like romantic poems. And I was like, what the heck?
He's a poet, man. He's a poet,
it's like, I feel like I can hold my own with most dudes, but not this dude.
Right.
So I called him the next day and I was like, hey, what was up with the poetry last night? And he's like, oh man, I send you poetry. And I was like, yeah. Sometimes I have a few too many. And he was like, I was like, you're a musician, you're a songwriter. So I started sending you that. He was like, I was a foreign literature major before I turned fighter. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And we talked a little bit. And I said, have you ever written a song? And he said, no. I was like, well, next time you come to Nashville, let's hook up and write a song. And he gets back to Nashville. I was like, hey, that night you kept screaming 22 in my face. And he was like, oh, yeah, did I put my finger in your face? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, there's a ring on that finger. And inside that ring, it says 22. I wear it on my trigger finger because 22 soldiers commit suicide in the United States every day. And, man, that hit hard. And what you probably don't know as well about this was I immediately related that back to one specific person that you introduced me to at Red Rock Casino, Joey Jones.
Yeah.
You introduced me to him, and I heard his story about coming back from the war. I think he was like 26, something like he was young.
Yeah.
With both of his legs missing.
Mm-hmm.
And like that idea of like, do you take your life now? Will you take your life? When do you do it?
He told me after 18 surgeries, he was on his way home, and he said, that's when I was decided I'm doing it now. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. And then hearing that story of him deciding, you know what? I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm going to get up. I'm going to show the world what I'm made of. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show other people that don't have it as bad as me and people who've had it worse than me. I'm going to show him. He wears those legs out with pride, with shorts every time I saw him, and he wants to make sure you know what you can accomplish. And I'll tell you this, too. I didn't see him do this, but we did a thing at Zach Brown's retreat in Georgia. What do they call the lines? All the ropes course, way up in the air, and they're like, dude, Joey was just here. And he was like, and this vet was over in the corner. He's like, I can't do it. And Joey's like, come on, man. And he just marched right across this one rope.
Whoa! What?
And he was like, and immediately he gets to the other side, and he was like, can't.
Yeah, and
he was like, and you saw the rest of those vets that were waiting. Were like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah, he's got two prosthetic legs, and you know what saved his life? Joe Nichols. He said he heard Joe Nichols on the radio. He told Randy and I and Joe Nichols on Joe's bus before a show. There's about 19,000 people out there, and he walks on this one. I met him, and he literally tells us, "You saved my life. I heard you talking about the love for our vets and what we do for you to allow you to do this, and that you take pride in that." He said, I downloaded all your music and listened to it for 3 months. And it was your music that made me go, I'm not taking my life. I have to live. And he said, I went and volunteered and folded shirts and all this stuff. And that guy is a monster. He's a monster in the gym. Yeah. I wrote a song, Colors That We Fly, about Joey 1 year later. And from that, it took that much time to digest, that moment. And Joey's in the video. So,
That's awesome.
So the 22,
Let him know that if you see him again, because I haven't seen him since that day. Let him know that when he talks about that saved his life, the amount of times that I've had an opportunity, like right now, in a live radio setting, you pull out a song about suicide. That's not what you're supposed to be playing. Right? That's not the moment that you're supposed to be taking in that. Mm-hmm. And the amount of times that I've just felt like that's what I was supposed to do and did it. And then have a veteran call in immediately to the radio station and go, I don't know who that guy was. Tell him to keep doing that. I need help. And the amount of people that we've seen is the reason that we really want to find a way to get this out mainstream. And that's been one of the biggest missions for this next year, or this year, is to figure out how do we get this song out there. Because I think for me at this point, like, I'm past the idea of wanting to be famous. I'm past the idea of, playing, arenas or any of that crap. Right. If it happens, great, but that's not what I'm into. What I am into is going, I know how effective certain songs are, and that's my mission. I want to get those songs out to the right people.
Those are the conversations that we have. And I got to tell you, I did share one day on my show here that story about a vet calling in and saying, I heard you play that song, and today was the day I chose this was going to be it. And I changed my mind because of you. It was like you spoke to him through the radio and saved his life. And you shared that with me on the phone, and I had to come share that here on the air. All right, guys, I'm really excited. For those of you out there, Rock Rage Radio listeners, I got a good friend of mine here. If you're just jumping on, Jared Blake, season 1 of The Voice. This guy's a super talent. I have shared the stage with you like many, many times. In fact, even when I was like, Elvis Monroe was brand new, my very first show, you came right off The Voice and then did a show together in Claremont, California.
Yep.
And then that went so well, I was playing my first big show at Universal Studios.
Yep.
And on that big $5 million 5-tower stage. And I featured you right in the middle of the show. It was just like, we go way back. I mean, the birth of Elvis Monroe, you were right there in it. But to those of you, like I said, you listening out there, Hero's Journey podcast, Rock Rage Radio, I've got Jared Blake, and you're going to play a song for us called 22.
Yeah. And, I say this before I play this typically. If there's anyone that this song resonates with, if you reach out to Jared Blake Music or Music with a Mission or any of your people, if anybody needs help with anything, as a veteran, Bryan and I both have a lot of resources to help you.
This is
get
true.
Connected. So do not suffer and do not. Being a hero isn't about not taking care of yourself. A real hero has to take care of themselves first, so they can't take care of anybody else. Remember that.
Wow. Well said, dude. Well said.
All right. You can't unsee what I saw. You can't have back what I lost. I left home a kid, and I came back a fully grown man. Lost both of my legs and 5 of my friends, and nothing makes sense. I never thought I would be staring down the barrel of my own gun. Oh Lord, can I still go to heaven? I've got nowhere else left to run. You can't have back who I was, though I'm still the one that you love. And I don't expect you to live with a man you don't know. But if you have to go, fight you I won't, hate you I don't. I never thought I would be staring down the barrel of my own gun. Oh Lord, can I still go to heaven after all of the things that I've done? Well, it seems so damn easy, one shot and I'm free. If only it would only kill me. But the truth is, you see, it killed my whole family. Now I've lost a wife and 5 brothers, my kids, and the man that I was. When I thought that I'd left the front line, but the fight for my life rages on. We lose 22 soldiers in only a day. Lord, that's the unspeakable truth. So I'll lay down my gun and I'll soldier on. Today there won't be 22. Oh, I'll lay down my gun and I'll soldier on. And today there won't be 22.
That gave me chills,
Thanks,
bro.
brother. Thanks, man.
Woo! Whoa, 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 whoa! What a great song,
Thanks,
dude.
man.
Give it up,
Brother.
Chase.
That was great, man.
Wasn't that?
Yeah.
Woo! Oh wow, dude, great song. And you wrote that with Randy Couture
and Eric Landis. Yeah.
What a great song.
Now Daryl Worley put it out right after that, and actually played a show with him not long ago, and he was like, "Man," he was like, "We tried to push that to radio, it just didn't work. I'm sorry." He was like, "I've been thinking about it." He's like, "I really think you need to put it out."
I think you do too.
And so that's what we're looking at now, and like I said, we're really looking for that song as well as a lot of other songs of like, how do we give back? How do we help people? You know, if we're willing to put so much money into a song just to try to make it a hit, why would we not want to put that kind of money into a song to try to change lives,
right?
Try to heal people, you know. And so
wow,
we'd like to eventually the plan would be to create a format where we could bring in people that believe that same sort of messaging, and bring in people like you as well, bring in different artists to put songs out there and give that song a chance to be just as big as, you know, any other song that we were only pursuing money for.
Right.
You know.
Wow, I applaud you, man. That was amazing. That gave me, I can't even describe the way I was feeling. And I'm a songwriter. And I was sitting there. It was one of those songs I went, oh, wow, that's what music is about right there. I wish
Thanks,
I wrote
buddy.
that. I wish I wrote that. It was
Thanks. That's always a
so,
big compliment, right?
It's,
When
yeah.
another songwriter
Like,
goes, man,
I wish I wrote that. I'm like, where's it going? Oh, you know? Gave me chills because it's very real, and I can put it to places, you know, stories that you and I have talked about on the phone. I want to take you back to I'm going to change gears here, but we were talking about stuff, and you stayed at my house one trip, like I think right after The Voice.
I think a lot of trips, man.
Yeah, but for about, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, you stayed at my house on the couch, and and you woke up one day, and I want to say you woke up from a nap. It was hilarious. And you're like, hey, I forgot. I wanted to share a song with you. And it was Devil in the Rear View.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that song. And you jumped up from the couch and you started to play it. And I'm like, that is so good. Hold on, I got to record that.
Yeah.
And I know you weren't prepared to play this song. And you even have to play it in a different key for me to do that. But I wanted to hear a little bit, because here was the thing. We talked about, you told me a story, and it resonated with me, because you were like, it was a time in your life where things are going good. Like, you just signed a publishing deal. You were writing, so you had money. This was, I think, before you're the better half now. You know, because you both brought kids into it, like the Partridge Family. That's how your family is so big. And you guys, you have a big house and big family. And I don't know how you find the hours in the day and the time to give all the love to your family, but you do. When I'm there, you go through all these routines, and then you go do your thing, and you're an artist, and you still give back, and you're sitting here giving back to soldiers and people who need it, and you're saying, reach out to us. That's huge. That says, again, back to the beginning of this conversation, when we started this, the kind of person that you are, and that you even reflected that onto me and said that I'm that kind of person, made me feel good too. So I appreciate that. But that you find the time. If you need my help, I'm going to be there to help you or help guide you to the right person that's going to give you the proper help, because it's more than us.
Right.
All of this is more than us.
And that's what I was saying earlier about needing other people, that you start to realize, like, if you have a desire to help, there's only so much you can do. So you have to know all the other people that also have a desire to help.
Right.
So you can direct them to the right person, because you just don't have the time to help everyone.
But it's that space. And the story you told me, though, I remember you saying, so you had money, things were going good. You said, I drank like a fifth of whiskey or something, and went and bought a Harley and crashed it like 3 or 4 times just leaving the parking lot. And you were like, when I sat down to write this song, it was like I had to outrun my demons, kind of thing that passed. And when you said that to me and then played the song, I was invested. I was lost in it. I just want to, if you got a verse and a chorus that you can give me, you know,
we'll try it. I mean, I haven't played it in years.
We'll edit it out if you.
I went too far, even broke my own heart. And I got real good at giving up and letting go. I took a southbound, hell-bent on going down. I lived my life like there was nothing worth living for. Oh, but a man can change if he can pick himself up out all that pain. So I'm driving as fast as I can, white knuckle, steering wheel in my hands, heart's pumping, red lining. Can't you hear that engine whining? I can't slow down, hell is on my heels, heaven help me spin these wheels. He's a gaining, and I'm praying this is one race I won't lose, 'cause I'm driving, yes I'm driving with the devil in the rear view. Woo!
Yeah. Wow, buddy. Thank you.
Man.
Thanks for doing that for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh.
You know, it's funny. I hadn't thought about that song in a while, but you were talking about, you know, running from your demons. And I feel like that if you're doing something right, there's always some sort of growth you're going to see. So you helped me see something today that I hadn't thought about, because I feel like that for years I definitely ran from my demons. I had to get enough space away from them to grow, because now I feel like I'm just full on fighting them. I feel like that I just got away from them long enough to train hard enough and get my brain focused, get my body focused, my spirituality focused, that you can go, nah, man, I got you.
Yeah.
Don't even try it.
There's no, you're not running from it. You're fighting it. And I see that in you. You're a different person today. You walked in a different person. Like you walked in, I have no hair, you have hair. It's like, you know, like we are definitely different people. You know, I had the big old faux hawk, which is, you know, right behind you in that shot. And, you know, we are different people. And it hasn't been that long, but I gained a great friend in you, and somebody that I can confide in and bounce ideas off of. And anytime my phone rings, I don't care where I'm at. I if I see it, I'm answering it. I don't care what I'm doing. You're calling for a purpose, and that purpose
Even
sometimes
when we don't know if there's a purpose.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Always
at
be
the
a
end of the
purpose.
day, at the end of that call, it's that, hey, we needed this inspirational talk, and I joke. It's like having a sponsor, you know, in the music industry.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I need to get this off my chest, and you know, and sometimes it's like, hey, I got 2 hours left on this drive. Just talk to me for 20, 30 minutes, you know, and it picks me up kind of thing. But we've been friends for a long time. And I found out today how parallel are, even so, you know, the Joey Jones. And I don't know if you knew that, like with Joey walking onto the bus and sharing his story, and then him seeing Randy Couture in the room and going, you're my hero as well. And Randy's like, no, you're mine. And then Randy goes, get his number. And I got his number, and Randy had him speak at one of the rides. And then Randy had him on Dancing with the Stars with him. And then it just kept going, and he was a part of our group. And now I think Joey he's a daily Fox News guy.
So I didn't realize any of that, and it was like during COVID, and I was sitting there, and Daryl had just cut the song, and I was sitting on the couch, and I literally had just gotten off the phone with Daryl Worley's people, and they had sent over the new artwork for it and stuff. And I was sitting on the couch looking at that, and I was flipping through, and I hit Fox News, and Joey was sitting there, and I sat there for a minute, and I was like,
yep.
I was like, I look familiar. And my wife came in the room, and I was like, hey, do you know who that is? And she was like, no, why? And I was like, so he's not like super famous or anything? And she was like, no, I don't think so. She's like, but I don't really watch news that much. And I watched him for probably 20 minutes or so before I was like, holy crap, that's that dude.
That's Joey Jones with hair.
That I was writing the song about, man.
And he's in a suit, and it's I love it. Joey, when he comes into town, he lets me know that he's here, and we try and do something, even if it's just picking him up from the airport and having a ride and just catching up. Yeah, because he's a busy man now.
And it's funny that you bring up Joe too, because we're actually booking Joe on one of our charity events right now.
You know what I love about Joe is I think it's 4 years sober now, and he's very proud of it, and as we all are, and he's in great shape and kicking butt. I just saw him. He came into town, and I went to the show, and it was just great to catch up backstage. And we're always sharing stories. We're always sharing tricks and things. He's warming up, and we're sharing little things that, backstage. And my friends were like, what's that all about? And I'm like, dude, it's a constant learning process. I don't care how long you've been doing this, but you take from others that are willing to teach you. And, this is a ride. A show comes and goes, and you're working on the next thing. And I want to shout out before we go to Jen, your wife, because she is a hustler. She managed your career. Dude. She manages the household. She has her own business, real estate, all the stuff.
It's funny. I joke with people about this, the fact that she literally built my career, and then after it was going good, she was like, you got this? And she just bailed. It was started creating a whole nother company. So she started a real estate agency, a brokerage, a remodeling company, and a design company, all in one. Because she said that she didn't want people to feel pressured, whether they were buying, selling, remodeling. She was like, "You don't like your house? Let's figure it out." Right. She's like a real life version of
a reality show.
What's the reality show that they're always trying to decide if they're going to sell the house or not? She's like a walking. Talking version of that. And so she's at a convention here in town, which is why I'm here for her company, Home Companies, LLC. And now she's getting into the furniture business. So that's what she's out here doing now.
I remember we were talking about that yesterday.
She crushes everything she touches, man.
That's great. Yeah. Before we go, is there anything that we've missed out on that you would like to share with anyone? Or is there another song that you'd like to play and leave us with? Because I know Chase and I would like to hear another one. Bro, you are
sure, man.
Fire.
I don't know that we've missed out on anything. I think if anything, what's on my heart these days, because like what we're saying is I'm not that guy that's gonna have his hand out for things. Mm-hmm. I'm always looking for how do we create a better world on our own. Yeah. So music with a mission is super, super important to me, because I think it's a way that we can use our abilities and the contacts that we have, like the Joe thing. All the shows that we've done, it's because we're reaching out to the artist directly,
right?
And we're able to look at things like, well, let's bring in this artist for this particular reason, and we know that this guy's going to be cool with doing meet and greets. He's going to be cool with hanging out with whoever it is, and then bringing the other bands that like a level of you or I, they may or may not know of us. But you can honestly say, hey, these guys are going to put on a kick-ass performance. You're going to love them. You're going to fall in love with them. You're going to become friends. You're going to want them every event from here on out. So you're trying to bridge between going, hey, let's forget. If I'm honest about it, we're trying to not reward the assholes.
Right.
We're just looking at going,
I love that.
Let's work with good people
right.
who are going to do good things. You're going to have an amazing event. We're going to come in under budget, and we're going to give something back to the community while we're there.
Amazing.
That's really where we're focused at right now is how do we do that with good people and then watch that grow.
That's awesome, man.
It's contactmusicwithamission.com.
Is it .com or .org?
Oh, sorry. No, it's musicwithamission.live.
.live. Okay. Musicwithamission.live.
Or you can hit me up, Jared Blake Music, at any of your social media things. It's all Jared Blake Music. Hit me up, and we'll answer it back and get started.
Amazing. Do you think you could play us out? I want to hear a song before we go. What about you, Chase?
I'd love that.
Yeah.
And one more time for that website.
Oh, musicwithamission.live, or they can go to Jared Blake Music, anything.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So those of you out there, Rock Rage Radio listeners, I got Jared Blake here, and I want to shout out to Red Rock Harley Davidson, JPS Computers, and SMP Inc. Thank you to Sticky Paws Studios here for making this my home. Chase, producer Chase, the voice. I know you love it when we have artists in here, on the show, because it's all inspiring, and this guy is the real deal. Jared is very much the real deal. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
What's this song you're going to play us?
You know what? Since we're going out, and since I've already played 2 slow ones, I'm going to pick it up a little bit. But this song I wrote pretty soon, I think right before The Voice, actually. And so to any musicians out there that have been told, what you're supposed to do and how and why, this song, I wrote it literally because I sat down with this big shot songwriter. He had me play like 30 of my songs. And I thought, man, this is going really well. Like, he wanted to keep more and more and more. What I didn't realize is at the end of it, all he was doing was taking notes on everything I was doing wrong.
No way.
And he literally gave me a list of like 30 things that he was like, hey man, this is what you're doing wrong. This is why you're not having a hit song. This is, and I was blown away by like, I get that you've got hit songs under your belt, but like, how do you look at art and go, you can't do this, especially since we've had, tons of, almost every big act we've ever had broke all the rules.
They break the ones that break the rules are the ones you remember. Right. Come on.
And so this is one of those songs we never released at the radio. We never did anything with it really at all. But you brought up the bike Harley. I play a lot of bike rallies, and this is no doubt my biggest song in that.
You play Sturgis just about every year.
Yeah, we're headed down March to play Daytona Bike Week. So we're at a lot of bike rallies and stuff. And I literally, this song, I sat down the day that he gave me that list of all the things not to do, and I managed to put every single thing he said not to do into this one song.
That's awesome.
And it's like I said, today it's still got me most of my gigs. It's got most of virtually unknown and still gets me everything.
I love it. So we got Jared Blake, everybody. What's the name of the song?
It's called Don't Mind.
There you go.
I was raised down an old dirt road, put the grit in my teeth and the gravel in my throat. Jesus in my heart and the devil on my mind, working my hands and the belt on my behind. Never been the kind to run from nobody, I'm a smoking gun. I'm the bullet in the air and the fire in the night, the blood on your knuckles and the finish to your fight. And I don't mind getting rowdy, I don't mind getting loud, no I don't mind getting crazy, I don't mind getting down, no I don't mind getting dirty, I don't mind raising hell, no I don't mind very well. When I was 16, I had an old Ford, had rust on the hood, had a dent in the door, a big block in it, she was 4-wheel drive. Guess we was doing about 95. The blue lights flashed out of my rear view. Small town cops, nothing better to do. Tore through the field, rolled the truck 3 times. Lucky for me, across the county line. So I don't mind getting rowdy, I don't mind getting loud, no I don't mind getting crazy, I don't mind getting down, no I don't mind getting dirty, I don't mind raising hell, no I don't mind very well. I am the son of a son of a son of a working man. Woo! That's what I am. All but when Friday comes, I cash my check, get out fast as I can. Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't mind getting rowdy, I don't mind getting loud, no I don't mind getting crazy, I don't mind getting down, no I don't mind dirty, I
That was awesome, man.
brother.
That was. I know that song very well. Hey, so I got Jared Blake here on a Hero's Journey podcast. I want to shout out again to Rock Rage Radio listeners. Thank you so much to SMP Inc., JPS Computers, and Red Rock Harley Davidson. Thank you, Jared, for being here with me.
Dude, thanks for having me, brother.
Really, man, thank you. Take us out, Chase.
Dream, and I believe it's coming around to me.